Hey students, good day. Welcome. This is Randy here with our video recording for Hospitality 3050. It's amazing. We're in week 11 and this is the first session or the first video for this particular week. Our goal today is going to finish up chapter 10 and we talked last week on Thursday before we took the quiz the role of housekeeping. Talked about the occupancy report. The occupancy report is probably most crucial or most of interest to the revenue team, the front desk team. We also talked about the housekeeping status report. That is most important probably for the housekeeping team because, shoot, what do we need to clean? What is our priorities for the day and what is the assignments for today? We also talked about the room status discrepancy, in which that shows nothing more than what the rooms are reported to be clean and what the front desk has in terms of occupied. And I can atone to this that back in the pandemic, when we first started opening back in July, the hotel that I work at, Vernon Lodge, had some problems with the discrepancy. The key probably point is accuracy, just getting things accurate and then communicating it to each other and making sure that everyone is on the same page. In this chapter, Casavana talks about the concept of teamwork, and makes no difference whether you're a hotel, whether you're a restaurant, whether you're General Motors, whether you're Upjohn in Kalamazoo, whoever you may be. Winning organizations have the spirit of teamwork, and they have a good work chemistry, and work chemistry and the teamwork are just essential to making things hum as the organization tries to service and eliminate any perhaps potential bottlenecks or service delays. But the concept of teamwork cannot be emphasized enough, and I really support what Casavana says in these few paragraphs. And the acronym you probably should just know is what does TEAM stand for? TEAM is T stands for together, E stands for everyone, A stands for accomplishes, and the M stands for more. So yeah, together everyone accomplishes more. And whether you're playing sports and Logan, if you're on the golf team, or if you're on the tennis team, Irina, you know, if you can work as a team and support each other and have each other's back, it really does make a difference. And we do in Frankenmuth, I think both properties. I'm talking Bavarian Inn, I'm talking Zenders, I'm talking Splash Village, restaurants and hotels. They do pretty well with that, but there's probably times in which there's always a moment for opportunity to do better. I hate to say it, but there are some personality differences that do occur between people and between leaders, and the biggest thing to do is to somehow get through it. Which leads me to the next topic. So, people always ask me all the time, how do you build teams and how do you build relationships? We are blessed at the hotel, at the lodge, that to answer that question for you is I'll answer it with Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie, the public speaking and human relations course that we probably have sent 300 people to over 10 years. 300 people have graduated. And that's probably a value of, I think it costs $1,800, $1,900 per year. It's like a 14-week course. And yes, you'll improve upon your public speaking course. You'll improve upon your confidence levels, and public speaking really will enhance that. And I would support that. If you ever have the opportunity to do it, please do it. Please take the course and let your employer pay for it. It's a great course. But also they have, it's not in public speaking and increasing your confidence, but it's also 31 human relation principles, and this is what we really emphasize in terms of trying to build our team. We call them the Big Four, and we've talked about that before, the Big Four. And the Big Four can be smiling, even though I know we're wearing masks. Yeah, you probably aren't aware I'm not wearing a mask today. Unbelievable. But I never saw me without a mask. But yeah, smile. Your body language, tone of voice, all those things are crucial to develop a relationship. Use of name, we've talked about this too. There's a difference between saying good morning to individual or saying good morning, Brett. If you say good morning, Brett, and incorporate Brett's name into the conversation 3 or 4 times, we believe, and so does Dale Carnegie, that it does make a difference and it builds a little bit better relationship and a little bit better team. Begin your conversations with friendliness in mind. That's the third principle that we really try to emphasize. Yep, we realize that there are times in which we have to maybe have tough conversations. It's life. When you're in leadership, sometimes you have to say some things that are difficult to say. Sometimes the receiver may not want to hear what you have to say, but you have to say that. But we would say that if you can begin the conversation with friendliness in mind and to try to be helpful to the person, that maybe they'll be more willing to understand and listen to it when you do deliver it. And once again, when you do deliver it, I always recommend one-on-one, a constructive comment, behind closed doors if possible, and just watching your tone of voice and your body language. Then concluding by saying, hopefully, that we're confident that you can do this and accomplish this opportunity that you may be having. And then last principle of the Big Four is, if you make a mistake, admit it. Boy, no doubt about that. If you do this, make a mistake with a person, just admit it, clear the air, get back to working. And I think I probably mentioned sometimes the mistakes I've made over the course of my career. So yeah, the Big Four principles are, once again, smile, number one, use of name, number two, begin your conversations with friendliness, and then also to admit a mistake. I also think, along with that, Carnegie will also say this, and we really try to emphasize this too. Cass, if I don't say it too, I'm in class, is you got to do things with sincerity in mind. You know, you can't be fake. You can't say some things and not act it. You got to be sincere. And I think another way to, once again, help build relationship, it comes back to our good friend, which we learned probably the first week in class, good old Kemmons Wilson, in which, compliment. Try to offer 3 to 4 compliments to perhaps one constructive comment. If you can do that, I think you're on your path to doing bigger and better things. So, all right, so let's get back to the chapter. I'm going through. I'm probably going to have just a total of, for today, 9 slides, and I think I'm on the 5th one already. I talk fast when there's no one else to babble in, but or talk in. So he also talks about types of maintenance, and there's 3 types of maintenance. And this, we'll talk more if it's going to be on the exam too or not. I'm not sure. Routine, preventive, and schedule. So let's take a look at those types of definitions. So I got to try to find those in the text. This is chapter 10. And routine is nothing more than just simple type maintenance. Shoot, this is routine maintenance is something that maybe I could do. Shoot, small painting, cutting lawns, um, vacuuming. Those are things, it's just something that's daily or weekly and require relatively minimal training or skills. That's something I can do. I gotta be honest with you, I really enjoy those type of things. I enjoy vacuuming and making the room look better. I enjoy painting and making the room look much better. I enjoy cutting and edging a lawn at home or seeing it at work. I don't do it at work, but I do enjoy it. So that's regular maintenance. Then you have scheduled maintenance. Okay? Excuse me, preventive maintenance. This consists of 3 parts: inspection, minor corrections, and work order initiative. This is a little bit more planning. You always hear our engineers talk about this. We got PMs we have to do today. Well, they will do some work saying we're gonna take a look at maybe some air conditioning units or air units, whatever, in these various rooms, which are individualized, and we gotta do some types of checks and balances. That's preventive maintenance. They'll also maybe gotta do some work in the dishwasher today. Gotta take a look at this, making sure that this part is just lubricated to make sure it runs more effectively. So that's preventive maintenance. And they have just a laundry list of things to do that they have to do. And never ends. The preventive maintenance just never ends. And if you do the preventive maintenance, the thought process is that it will enhance the life of your equipment. It'll go longer, it'll run more smoother, you have less bottlenecks or less breakdowns, etc. The last maintenance that he talks about is scheduled maintenance. And that is nothing more than scheduled maintenance activities initiated the property based on a formal work order or a similar document. Work orders are a key element in the communication between housekeeping and engineering. Sample maintenance order is shown. It's shown in the book, but scheduled work it's a little bit more higher level. We had one in which it wasn't really scheduled between housekeeping and the engineers, but we had scheduled maintenance just some on our water slides just 2 weeks or so ago, in which we had to have someone who outsources who helped us with the development of those water slides, had to do some work. They had to replace some parts that only they could do. So scheduled maintenance is maybe a little bit more intense. It's the most complicated of the 3, but it needs to be done and it's scheduled. And then when we do things like that, when you're taking down a water slide, the water slides were down for 3 days. We definitely want to do that. Planning part is that we have low frequency of occupancy, and probably very, very minimal amount of children. I think we did it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That was last week. Not this week of election, but it was last week, and it worked out pretty well. So those are the types of maintenance that he talks about in chapter 10 too, that we should be somewhat in tune with. Okay, comes back to identifying housekeeping responsibilities, and usually it's the general manager of the property that will determine who does what. And what most properties do, and we have done this, is Casavana has this term, and I don't know if most properties use this or not, but we do. We are a Casavana fan, and we have done that. When we plan the work of the housekeeping department, we take a look at an area inventory list. So, what is that? The area inventory list is nothing more than creating an inventory list of all items within each area that will need housekeeping attention. So, Exhibit 5, Exhibit 4 in class or in the text. This is on page 379. Is just something as an example. It has public areas, location, entrance 1, lobby, entrance 2, behind the fountain, catwalk. These are all different areas in this particular hotel that need some love and some attention in terms of cleaning. Think about if you were walking into the Hotel H in Midland, and you are so looking forward to being there. You've got a special wedding going on. You're a Northwood graduate, and we're going to be in town for a few days. Your home is Grand Rapids or something now. Da da da. Let's figure 10 years from graduation. And anyways, you're coming back to Midland for a beautiful wedding for one of your friends, and they're going to have it close to campus, and you're just so excited. And you walk into the front lobby, and geez, you're checking in, and there's cobwebs in the corner by the chandelier. You certainly wouldn't want that. So anyways, hopefully by developing these frequency schedules and developing these area inventory lists, we do not want to have that at Owen Frank, but I know the Hotel H people would not want to have it either. So you want your property to be, once again, we talked about this, the rooms have got to be a wow situation. That's probably what the young person says, but for me, we probably say it's got to be nice, neat, and attractive. It's the same thing, but it has to look gorgeous. It does. We're on display. So yeah, make a list. We talked about the exhibit. And I think like with those exhibits, we ask ourselves all the time in our property, who, what, where, when, why, who's going to do it? When are they going to do it? How frequently does it need to be done? And one of the things that, a big thing in our areas, because we do so much cooking, we used to, we'll see what happens when the pandemic clears, but we used to do so much stage cooking in courtyard areas, in the dining room areas, the banquet areas, because we thought that was part of the show. We are a resort hotel. People want to come into our property and they want to see what we have to offer. So how often do you clean those carpets? And you could have a different type of flooring. We have probably chosen to have carpeting in most of our areas. We feel it's quieter and we feel we can self-clean ourselves. And yes, we used to have oh, can't think of the name. It's a yellow business that used key carpet cleaning. It's not Sam's, but forget the top of my head. But anyways, they'd come in. But we're cleaning our own carpets. We have our own team. But then the question is how often do you clean the carpets? Trust me, we clean those carpets, and the carpeting of today is pretty polyester oriented, and it can handle it pretty much. And so what I've learned too is that my own home, I will clean carpets quite a bit and quite frequently. So, anyways, so yeah. You do take a look at those things and determine how often. You do that with the area inventory list and the frequency schedule, who does what by when and how often. And usually, once again, the question I just want to make sure or the thought process is that usually the general manager helps determine per cast event, and the general manager or the executive leadership team here at the lodge have also determined pretty much as to who does what in terms of cleaning by when. So we're almost done. So there's just a few other thoughts I just want to share with you before we conclude. And he talked about Exhibit 5. Now, we talked about a productivity study a few weeks ago. This is his version of a sample productivity standard worksheet. And if you can, take a look at that. That's on page 381. And it's good stuff. Step 1 is determine how long it should take to clean one guest room according to the department's performance standards. You continually look at performance standards, and we've looked at that over the years. I'm not going to answer that quite yet. Step 2 is determine the total shift in minutes. You can do that, and then step 3 is determine the time available for the guest room cleaning. Total shift time is 510 minutes in this example, less the beginning of shift duties. Morning break, lunch of 30 minutes. Afternoon break, 15 minutes. End of shift duties, 20 minutes. Total time available for guest room cleaning is 410 minutes. Step 4 is determine the productivity standards by dividing the result of step 3 by the result of step 1. So, anyways, and as he says this as an asterisk, he says since performance standards vary from property to property, the figure is used to illustrate purposes only. It is not suggested time figures for cleaning. So once again, it determines the property, and how we do things is that we as leaders will clean the rooms too. And we try to develop that. And that's how we probably came up, I think, with our benchmark of 33, 34 minutes. Lisa Young, who is our executive housekeeper, adopted the philosophy. Karen Zender is just very, very good at Bavarian in a restaurant. She's a quality type person too, along with Dorothy Zender. But she would always say you have to emphasize quality first. Then you work on your quantity of things. Try to get more progressive and try to get things more done. But is an employee going to start out as an exceptional right away? No. Maybe 1 out of 10 might, but the majority of employees will need to be trained, developed, coached up, and we have to encourage that, develop that, etc. And we want them to do well, and so we just have to help them. And as Karen would say, you coach quality first. You get the quality first, then you work on the quantity. Long as the housekeeper has a good attitude, got good attendance, they got a good appearance, we work with them. We really do, because in this day and age, you just know that you just don't have enough time. You just don't have enough people to take care of things. So, but yeah, that exhibit 5, just 2 thoughts. It says approximately 27 minutes. Wow, that's pretty high standard. 2 things that I want to add to it, or a couple things to add. They have a morning break of 15 minutes. They have an afternoon break of 15 minutes. So, in my opinion, that's probably something that came to the sample productivity standard worksheet. I think came from a union. I really do. We don't have afternoon breaks. I don't think Zenner says afternoon breaks. I have never worked for a union. I'm not saying bad about it. Unions are needed because sometimes people abuse things, and so it's just the way it is. But I think that probably came from like a major city of Detroit or Chicago of a hotel. So you determine your own standards by getting involved and you making your own decisions. So once again, my opinion is you got to balance out the quality and the quantity. You got to work it. You got to role play it. You make the standards, and you make sure you have your resources to take care of it too. Yeah, that's a big thing. I just want to add before we conclude is that you got to have the resources for the employees. Nothing is more frustrating. And I do orientation for our staff. We ask them how are things going. These people have been with us maybe for a month to 6 weeks, and what's good and what's bad about Bavarian Inn Lodge. And sometimes housekeepers say we really like it. It's a beautiful property. We think things are fair, but the biggest thing that it used to be, probably like around 4 years ago, things go into waves. They would say that the equipment's not working. I said, what equipment's not working? The vacuum cleaners. So we got to talk to leadership about that and make that work. And sometimes, people can be guilty of doing that. You can't suck everything up with a vacuum cleaner. You got to pick up the big chunks with a broom or whatever and a dustpan and make it work. You just can't expect the vacuum cleaner to take care of it. But nothing is more frustrating than people. They want to have the equipment to work for them. So keep that in mind too. You got to have the resources and take care of those resources and put your resources to work. So, all right, wrap it up. So I just want to say thank you. That's a quick version on chapter 10. And so next time when we get together, today is Monday the 2nd, and I'll probably do the next one on probably Wednesday. Tomorrow I'll start working. The exam's almost done, and the next session will be, we're just going to talk about the 50 questions or so which are going to be on the exam. So to get you prepped for that, with the understanding the thought processes, we'll take the exam next Tuesday, which will be a week from tomorrow. So tomorrow is November 3rd, Election Tuesday. So 3 and 7, it'll be the 10th. Next Tuesday the 10th. So I'm changing it around. I'm sorry. So I'll probably make some more changes again with the quizzes. And we might have to take some quizzes in class together as a team to get through the materials. So anyways, in concluding, I just want to say thank you for your flexibility with me. I also want to encourage you to keep working on the Oracle. Some of you have emailed me. I think after class on Tuesday, there were 2 of you that thought they could not get on to Oracle. for the project for the project, and Nick went through that, and he said that there was one person um, that he inputted incorrectly. He did resolve that, but he thought everything else should be ready to go. And then Irina, I think I helped you too, so hopefully things are going okay in your world too. So, anyways, but please continue to talk to me, and we got to work through these things together. So here it is. We're in November. We've got 1 month left. We've got to do the thing with exam two. We got to do the final, and we also do Oracle along with the quizzes. So that's where we're at. Okay. Thank you, folks. Stay safe, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.